Now in this lecture we are going to learn another type of conditionals, which is nested conditional, which means that one conditional can be also nested within another one. Now in previous lecture we have seen if-else statements look like this. So here we have only two choices. So if this condition is true, we are doing this one. If this condition is not true, we are continuing to the else condition and we are doing the one which is in red over here. But in a nested if statement, once the first condition has passed, we can check for another condition. And then we can have another if-else statement inside this if condition over here. So this means that if this first condition is true, we are continuing to do another if condition over here. So here inside this if condition, we have another if condition in which we are checking for another condition. So if this another condition is correct, we are doing this. If this another condition is not correct, we are doing this one which is in yellow. If this condition is not correct, as always, we are continuing to do else condition which is in red over here. So we are doing the task which is in red over here. Now, as I said, in order to this nested if condition to be executed, the first if condition must be true. Now, let's say we have a condition like this, in which we are checking if x is equal to y or not. So if it is equal to y, we are printing out x and y are equal. If they are not equal, we are printing out they are not equal. Now let's say if we have another condition, we need to check that if x is greater than y or not. So in this case, we need nested if condition. So we are going to write nested if condition inside else statement over here. So if they are not equal, we are going to check another if condition if x greater than y or not. So in this case, we can write our nested if condition like this. So here, as you can see, if they are not equal, our if condition will continue to the else statement. So in the else statement, we are going to check that if x greater than y, in this case, we are printing out saying that x greater than y, else we are going to print out saying that x is not greater than y, because in this case, they are not equal and x is not greater than y. So in this case, this means that x is less than y over here. So here, although the indentation of these statements makes the structure apparent, so as you can see, the first if else statements indentation is in the same level and the nested if else conditions are located in the same indentation over here. So here indentation makes the structure apparent, but nested conditionals become difficult to read very quickly. If you have many nested conditionals inside each other, in this case it's going to be very difficult to read them. So in general, it's a good idea to avoid them when you can. Now in our upcoming lectures, when we learn logical operators, you will see that they often provide a way to simplify nested conditionals over here. Now let's look at the flowchart of these nested conditionals over here. Now in this case, the flowchart will look like this. So we are starting from here. First we are checking that if x is equal to y or not. So if they are equal, we are heading over here and printing out equal. If they are not equal, we are continuing to over here. So as you can see, in the no case, we have another flowchart over here in which we are checking that if x is greater than y or not. So if it is greater than y, we are printing out it's greater. If it is not greater than y, we are continuing to do no arrow. So in this case, we are printing out saying that this is less. So as you can see, before we had a print statement over here, but instead of print statement now, in the no arrow, we have another if condition over here, which represents nested if. Now let's look at this one in our previous example that we have explained if-else condition. So there we have implemented mortgage calculator based on the person's salary. So as you can see over here, we are checking that if the salary is greater than 2,000, in this case, this person is eligible for mortgage. If it is not greater than 2,000, in this case, he's not eligible for mortgage. Now, in addition to the salary, let's say we need to check their credit score. And based on the credit score, we can identify interest rate. So if somebody's credit score is greater than 800, the interest rate will be 4. But if their credit score is less and equal than 800, the interest rate in this case will be 6%. Now, we need to represent this extra if condition inside this calculator over here. Now, to represent this, we need another extra if condition over here. So we are going to use nested if and else statement. So if we implement nested if and else statement for this flowchart over here, our flowchart will be like this. So in this case, you see that in the first condition, we are checking that if the salary is greater than 2000 or not. So if it is not greater than 2000, in this case, he's not eligible for mortgage. So this means that we are not going to continue to the nested if-else statement. But if the salary is greater than 2000, in this case, we are going to check another condition for identifying the interest rate. So as you can see here, we can print out saying that you can get mortgage. Then based on the credit score, we are going to identify the interest rate. So as you can see, after eligibility, we are checking that if the credit score is greater than 800, in this case, we are printing out saying that the interest rate will be 4%. And if the credit score is not greater than 800, in this case, we are printing out saying that interest rate will be 6%. So as you can see, we can implement credit score over here by using extra nested if-else statement over here. Now let's implement this in practice. Now in the previous lecture, we have created our mortgage calculator like this. So first is printing out greeting message, then is asking for the salary of a person. Then based on this salary, it's printing out this message over here. So if the salary is greater and equal to 2000, in this case, it's printing out you are eligible for mortgage. Otherwise, it's printing out you are not eligible. So we are going to implement our extra if condition over here inside the eligibility part. So if someone is eligible for mortgage, in this case, we are going to ask for their credit score. Then based on this credit score, we are going to print out their interest rate. So here, after this print statement, if I hit enter, you will see that the cursor comes over here, which is located at the same level with the print statement. So you need to be very careful about this, because here the indentation level must be the same with the print statement over here. Otherwise, if you put over here, for example, in this case, we will receive error and it's not going to be included inside this if statement over here. So that's why when you are writing nested if-else statement, the indentation level is very important over here. So it's very advisable to come to the last statement over here and press enter. In this case, it's going to come to the same level with the previous statement. So here, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to ask the credit score from a user. Then we are going to save it to the variable over here. So that's why I'm just going to create a new variable, which will be credit score. And here, one more time, we are going to use input function. And as a prompt, I'm going to ask, what's your credit score? Now, after getting this value, we need to convert it to the integer, because the value that we are getting with the input function is a string. So that's why I'm going to convert it to integer, because our credit score will be integer. Now, after getting this, one more time, I'm going to hit enter. So here you can see that the cursor comes to the same level with the credit score. So here we can write our if condition like this. So I'm going to write if. So one more time, I'm going to hit enter to write else statement over here to make sure that they are located in the same level over here. So whenever you write if statement, the else statement must be the same level over here. So I'm just going to go back and write our if condition over here. So according to our flowchart, we are going to check that if the credit score is greater than 800, in this case, we are going to print out saying that interest rate is 4%. Otherwise, we are going to print out saying that it is 6%. So it's going to be like this. If credit score is greater than 800, so we are going to put colon over here and hit enter. So when we hit the enter, you see that the indentation level comes over here. So it's not coming with the same level as we have with if keyword over here, is coming over here. So as we discussed in our previous lecture, indentation is very important in if-else statements over here. So indentation should be over here. So if the credit score is greater than 800, we are going to print out saying that interest rate is 4%. So it's going to be like this. Interest rate, so it's going to be 4%. Now, otherwise, after else statement, I'm just going to put colon over here one more time and hit enter. So it's going to come over here with the same level that we have written print statement inside this if condition over here. So I'm just going to write another print statement over here saying that interest rate is 6%. Now, after doing so, we have successfully implemented our credit score in our mortgage calculator over here. So as you can see, first we are checking that if the salary is greater than the 2000, in this case, we are continuing to check for the credit score. Now let's run our code to see how this is working in practice. So if I hit run, you'll see that first it says that welcome to our mortgage calculator, then it's asking our salaries. For example, if I write 2500 and hit enter, you will see that execution goes inside this if statement over here. So as you can see, it's printing out you are eligible for mortgage. So after doing so, it's continuing to do this line of code. So in this line of code, it's asking our credit score over here. So it stops over here because we have input function over here. So we have to input something. So if I hit, for example, as a credit score 600 and hit enter, you will see that it's printing out saying that the interest rate is 6%. So as you can see, it's checking that if the credit score is greater than 800. So as you can see, I have inserted 600. So this means that the execution part will go over here and it's printing out interest rate is 6%. So that's how we can implement nested if-else condition inside mortgage calculator over here. Now with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. So in this lecture, we have discussed nested if-else statement. And here you need to take into account that indentation level is very important over here. So the first if-else statement is located in the same indentation level. Then the second if-else statement is located inside this if statement with the same indentation level over here. Now, with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. So hopefully everything is clear about nested if-else statement. So see you in the next lecture.